Welcome to Secret Shaman, and we are going to be looking at how Venus manifests in Pisces with celebrities like Francis Ford Coppola, Billie Holiday, writers like Edgar Allan Poe and Charles Dickens, and artists like Van Gogh and Norman Rockwell. Venus in Pisces is the sign of dreamy imagination that loves fantasy and romance. Pisces is the most romantic of all the signs. They are sensitive, secretive, compassionate, and changeable. They exhibit kindness and warmth, are quick to forgive, and are sentimental towards their loved ones. They are seductive, tender, intuitive, empathic, and also easily hurt. Ruled by the watery planet Neptune, they are emotional and spiritual. Pisces is the sign of the psychic because they are intensely sensitive to their environment. They can be wistful, and they need someone who is gentle, patient, and sensitive towards their changing feelings. They love unconditionally and want to connect, but may also find it hard to finally commit or settle down. Venus in Pisces often see their lover with rose-colored glasses. They want to absorb and be absorbed by their lover. They idealize relationships and truly are looking for their soulmate. They are willing to do whatever is necessary to win their heart. They often have to define their healthy boundaries as they frequently get immersed in their lover's desires. And being so idealistic, they can worship their loved one. Venus in Pisces tend to be sympathetic to the underdog because they easily feel the experiences of others. This ability can often obscure their own feelings. Pisces, as a sign, wants to relieve suffering and often sacrifice much, giving too freely. Theirs is the softest heart of all, and they get hurt a lot because of their innate kindness. It can be hard sometimes for Pisces to see the true nature of their partner or accept a cruel world. Seeing a love relationship clearly can be a challenge, and keeping it balanced may take some work. Pisces often need privacy or distance to recoup their energies and can sometimes be passive-aggressive. Venus in Pisces can be attracted to someone who needs to be saved, and they are often the willing martyr in such a pairing. Others can take advantage of them, and they need to learn when to say no and reserve some personal time for themselves. Money often does not mean a lot to them when compared to idealism. They have the vision, but are also haunted by deep fears. They often retreat from others because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings at any cost and are drained by conflict. If they cannot find a good match, Pisces can resort to drugs or alcohol or become a hermit to help relieve their pain and disappointment. Venus is exalted in Pisces and very beneficial. They find beauty in dissolving boundaries and creating dreams and visions. Benefits come through psychic or spiritual channels, creativity, imagination, dreams, charities, gifts, herbs, the ocean, entertainment, film, photography, or pharmaceuticals. Their shadow nature can be gullibility, escapism, or addiction. Okay, now for some samples. Martin Luther King was a compassionate minister and peaceful protester whose most famous speech was "I Have a Dream." His civil rights speech passionately called for equality and harmony for all peoples and protection for the underprivileged. Francis Ford Coppola is famous for his work as a writer, director, producer, and pioneer in American cinema with classic films such as The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, and Patent. Coppola favored complex themes with narrative storytelling and likes building sequences that come to an emotional crescendo, much like a wave crashing. He is known for pushing the boundaries of current visual styles in film, sometimes creating surreal and dreamlike imagery. So when we look at his chart, you see Venus exalted in the second in Pisces, Venus and Jupiter in the second. That says this is going to be a successful man. His Venus is also trine the MC, so his creative life is essential to his career. He has the North Node there as well. And his Venus is sextile Mars, conjunct his ascendant in Capricorn, showing that he had the will in the crusader-like energy to make it to the top. Billie Holiday was one of America's greatest jazz singers with an instinctive sense of music and deep emotion. Billie frequented nightclubs and had serious addiction problems for which she was eventually convicted and imprisoned. Pisces, of course, ruling prisons, and also hidden enemies. Her controversial song, Strange Fruit, which was based on a lynching, is considered to be one of the first protest songs of the civil rights movement. Edgar Cayce was the most famous American clairvoyant and psychic, who was known as the Sleeping Prophet, with 14,000 mystical readings cataloged. He performed his readings while in trance and is considered a principal source of many characteristic beliefs of New Age thinking, including the holistic health movement. Maya Angelou was a poet, singer, and civil rights activist. Her most famous work, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, is her personal story of her traumatic youth, struggling with healthy boundaries, her unstable home life, sexual abuse, and teenage pregnancy. She saw herself as a captive bird suffering in captivity, longing for her freedom. Edgar Allan Poe was a gifted poet and author known for his tales of mystery and the macabre. Poe is considered the creator of the modern horror genre and the fictional detective story. His short stories explored themes of death, loss, and the supernatural. Victor Hugo was a French poet, novelist, artist, politician, and dramatist who wrote two of the most beloved and compassionate stories about society's underdogs, such as The Hunchback from Notre Dame and Les Miserables. He was a leader of the French Romantics, calling for universal suffrage, free education, and an end to poverty and slavery. He lived in exile for 20 years as a symbol of the French people. Charles Dickens was a British author, philanthropist, and social reformer who sought to improve the living and working conditions of the desperately poor. His literary style is a mixture of symbols, fantasy and realism, melodrama, and cliffhangers mixed with humor. The memorable characters he created include Scrooge, Tiny Tim, Marley's Ghost, David Copperfield, and Oliver Twist. Norman Rockwell was said to paint the American dream better than anyone. An American painter and illustrator famous for his poignant and idyllic portrayals of American life, his life work was known for its optimism and humor. He loved painting the average person, the American worker, and his art had great nostalgic appeal. He was able to capture the spirit of the nation and was concerned with civil rights and freedom. Eugene Delacroix was one of the most important of the French Romantic painters, known for his dramatic lighting and fluid use of color to evoke emotion in his paintings. His most famous paintings captured romantic and dramatic themes, often showcasing death, tragedy, and chaos often with an ocean background. Max Ernst was a German Dadaist and Surrealist artist, poet, and sculptor, fascinated with the subconscious dream landscape. His paintings and collages incorporate monsters, dreamlike apparitions, and enigmas with a fluid movement between reality and fantasy. He could give form to collective myth images from his unconscious imagination. So I've saved my favorite for last. Vincent Van Gogh was a compassionate post-impressionist painter who loved the common man. Van Gogh was known for his fluid brushstrokes merging together to create extraordinary paintings of intense color and emotion. Van Gogh painted some of his greatest masterpieces while institutionalized towards the end of his life. So please enjoy my little montage of the wonderful Van Gogh. So I conclude my Venus series with Pisces with a list of additional Venus and Pisces celebrities for your review. And if you have Venus and Pisces, please leave a comment below so we can learn more about this dreamy, imaginative sign. And thank you so much for watching.